By the way, it's
to extract the ACM.
It's not signed, and there's no date on it.
To get the computer inside the vehicle, the box, the ACM.
Let's move on to the next.
So wait a minute. So the warrant to get the ACM is not signed.
Exactly. Can you go on to the next page?
So you're telling me they go in Mustafa's vehicle, chop up the roof.
Well, here's the lie.
Crush the vehicle.
Here's the lie. Here's the lie.
Without a warrant. I mean, this is not signed.
It's
so
not
they
signed.
can literally put in a document at any time.
At any time and say we had a warrant. When did you get this warrant? It's not signed.
It's not signed by a judge.
This
is not a warrant.
That's why prosecutor sealed this file. They sealed this file.
So let's back up a little bit.
I want to read his
Mustafa
lies.
wakes up from a coma. He tells investigator Chad Mason, I don't know what happened. There's something wrong with my car. They immediately go to the vehicle, have the fire department, literally,
and chop up the vehicle.
They cut the roof, crush the vehicle,
crush the driver fender.
Crush the driver fender. And their excuse is to get to the ACM. Well, the problem here is I have a picture of the vehicle at the scene. You had access to the ACM.
We showed the video that we went to the junkyard.
The vehicle was not caved in.
Clearly demonstrates how easy it is to get the ACM without chopping up the roof, chopping up the driver fender, and smashing this car the way they did. So they literally destroyed exculpatory evidence. So they destroyed it.
You have fatalities in this accident. You go in without a warrant. You take the ACM, and in the process, you're crushing the vehicle.
But let's observe. Let's read the lie that Robert Drum wrote to this warrant. Okay. So in order to get a warrant, you have to identify why you need this warrant legally. You have to identify why it is that you're asking the government to give you access to this vehicle. Okay? Let's see what Robert Drum wrote on this warrant. That is, again, I'll pull it up. It's not signed. It's not dated. All it has is his name and badge number, but there's no date. There's no signature. What did he write? This is what he wrote. On April 5th, I responded to the area of Dumfries Road and Fortuna Center Plaza for a crash. Once on the scene, the driver of a black four-door sedan was being removed from the driver's seat.
That is not true. That is not true.
Listen to this.
The body cam literally showed that Mustafa was already extracted out of the vehicle, and he's laying in front of his vehicle in and out of consciousness. And there is paramedics all around him. There's bystanders around him. The bystander pulled Mustafa out of the vehicle.
I'm gonna put a mark every time he lies.
I have a body cam. We're gonna go over that body cam. That's gonna show that is a lie.
Okay, that's lie number one. He says that once on the scene, the driver of a black four-door sedan was being removed from the driver's seat. So Drum is telling us that when he arrived, Mustafa was being dragged out of the car. That's number one. That's lie number one. According to witnesses, they got Mustafa out prior to police getting on the scene.
Forget the witnesses. I have Exhibit 10, literally a body cam that will show exactly when Robert Drum showed up on scene. And that Mustafa was already extracted.
Exhibit 10?
Exhibit 10.
Okay, we're gonna go back to it. Let me continue. I spoke to this driver, Mr. Mustafa Al-Jazari, was not aware of his surroundings and seemed to be in a daze.
There it is.
And slightly removed from the world, consistent with a person whom is under the influence of a drug. Okay.
That is absolutely not true. Mustafa never spoke to Robert Drum. Robert Drum never spoke to Mustafa on the scene. As a matter of fact, Robert Drum falsified the witness statement.
Listen, all you have to do is play that off-duty paramedic and how he was describing Mustafa to Robert Drum. So hold on a second. If this paramedic is describing to Robert Drum what Mustafa was doing, what he was saying, that means he never spoke to Mustafa.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, he would not be getting information from an off-duty paramedic that was talking to Mustafa prior to Drum.
Absolutely.
So that means that whole statement is a lie. You just lied on a sworn statement. You lied on a sworn document. In order for you to get a warrant, you have to put in a sworn affidavit. And that's lie number two on a sworn document by Drum. Okay, we're going to get back to it, by the way. I'm going to put in my notes here that you have a video, a body cam, where he's talking off-duty paramedic.
And he falsified the off-duty paramedic statements.
Okay, off-duty paramedic. Let's continue. That's lie number 2. Okay. Now, during the investigation, it was learned the vehicle he was driving was traveling west on Dumfries Road when, for an unknown reason, it crossed sideways into eastbound traffic, having the right side collided with another vehicle. Both passengers in his car had serious injuries. Meth salts were removed from his person along with possible marijuana in the vehicle. The accused is also a known drug user, according to officers on the scene, which is Casey Fines, as we know today.
So Casey Fine gets on scene.
The medical records would show drug and alcohol present at the time.
That's a fucking lie. Mustafa's toxicology is literally in the file. It shows no alcohol and no drugs. And when he talks about meth, salt, Mustafa, what they took out of Mustafa's car is Adderall, prescribed Adderall.
On video.
And there's a body cam where they literally look at
Mason.
Chad Mason and Robert Drum looks at Mustafa's prescription. So to put that in the file, I mean, anybody that's reading this, they're like, oh my God, Mustafa's on meth? I mean, if the file wasn't leaked on the internet, you can verify that literally there's a body cam where they pull Mustafa's prescription out of that vehicle.
That's
and they're
5
like,
lies.
oh, he's on Adderall. Oh, okay.
Look,
it's prescribed.
Look, let's continue down this form, okay? Let's continue down this form, and then we're gonna revisit. We're gonna revisit those 5 lies. Okay. We're gonna revisit them with actual video evidence on how Robert Drum falsified an affidavit to a warrant. Okay. Next, number 7. Okay. He says, through my investigation and 6 witnesses who witnessed the crash as occupants and or operators of vehicles on the roadway during the crash event.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Let's wait for Elaine to go through.
You know, every time I see an airplane, she has a license for an airplane. I think she's going to crash right into my podcast.
Let's wait for Elaine to fly by. Look. So
have you contacted to get her license removed?
So now he's going to falsify what the witnesses said on the scene.
Every body cam show each of the witnesses. The prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, every witness says that Mustafa crashed into the SUV. Every witness says, I didn't see the accident.
We're going to revisit those 6 witnesses and what they said.
You have 2 witnesses that says Mustafa cleared the vehicle into the 4th lane, and then you have another witness, 2 other witnesses, that says Mustafa hit the brake.
You're missing the point here. You're missing the point. The point is, he wrote on a sworn document
Absolutely.
that he has 6 witnesses who witnessed the crash. I mean, these are very specific allegations. Witnessed the crash. They physically saw the crash with their very own eyes.
He flat out lied.
That's what you're writing to a judge. In this case, there is no judge, so I don't know who he's writing it to because nobody signed it. Those individuals are Courtney Esslinger, Eric Thompson, Rebecca McClellan, Jeremy Palmberg, Brody Wilson, and Ann Guthrie.
Unfortunately for Robert Drum, I have those body cams.
So all witnesses wrote statements and signed a public document detailing the version of events which were corroborated by physical roadway evidence. That's what he says.
Oh, roadway evidence.
So okay, let's
which roadway evidence? The file, the scan that he removed out of the file.
Let's go back, and we're gonna identify every lie.
Roadway evidence that showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time.
Let's go back and revisit those 5 lies and the 6 witness statements that
Mustafa's
he alleged.
skid marks that's all over the road that he says there are no skid marks.
Let's go back. Look, let's slow it down a little bit. Okay.
So you wrote the notes, right? You tell me the point, and I'm going to look it up for you.
Let me put this up on the screen. Wait, your thing went out. There you go. Look, let's put this up on the screen so that people can see. Okay, number 4 on top. He says exactly. What does he say? 1, 2. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The first lie is that. What does he say specifically? That he arrived on the scene and he witnessed Mustafa being taken out of the car. That's what
absolutely a lie. I'm going to pull up body cam for you. Okay. Exhibit 10. I'm going to pull up Exhibit 10 for you.
Let's pull up the body cam to see if Drum is lying or not. Because, I mean, as you know, lying on a warrant is a very serious crime. Okay? And the prosecutor sealed these body cams so that when Robert Drum writes up a warrant after the fact, after they've destroyed his car, after they've already fucked around with this case, we can go back in real time and check it. Let's go back.
All right, so Robert Drum gets
what are
on
we
the
looking
scene.
at here?
This is Exhibit 10. If you go on the on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast, literally there is a file that says Mustafa Al-Jazari body cams, and I've numbered those body cams in exhibits. This is Exhibit 10. Exhibit 10 is Robert Drum's body cam.
Okay,
Now,
let's go into it.
when you see this body cam, it starts at 6:52. You see Robert Drum get on scene.
6:52.
6. Yep. So this is April 5th, 2023.
And he's muted here.
He's muted here. He's going to get to the scene. He's going to unmute his body cam. And you're going to see that number one is completely falsified. He never made contact with Mustafa. He made contact with a witness.
He witnessed Mustafa being taken out of the car.
That's not true. Mustafa has already been taken out of the vehicle by bystanders. And you'll see him in front of his vehicle on the floor in and out of consciousness. As a matter of fact, what you'll see, Robert Drum makes contact with a witness, an off-duty paramedic, that's going to tell investigator Robert Drum that Mustafa believes that he's in 2021, Obama is the president, and he tells Robert Drum, Mustafa is in a concussion. He's dealing with a concussion. Robert Drum literally turns around
and says he's on drugs.
He's on drugs. Now, why is Robert Drum saying Mustafa is on drugs? You're going to see that Officer Casey Fines, the minute that Robert Drum gets on scene, Casey Fine puts a label on Mustafa
While laughing.
Now, hold on. Now, you haven't done a toxicology report on Mustafa. You haven't reconstructed the vehicle.
You haven't looked at the data from the car.
You haven't looked at
You haven't
data.
spoken to any witness.
You haven't looked at the dash camera inside the car. You haven't spoken to any witness. Why are you putting a label that Mustafa is on drugs? Now, according to prosecutor Sarah Sammy, when Mustafa's defense attorney during a Brady motion says, I have an officer that put a label on Mustafa, inserting a bias in this whole entire investigation, she says, Your Honor, I believe that this has something to do with Stafford incident. What Stafford incident?
Let's take a look here.
Stafford incident is Mustafa sued the police in 2018.
Look,